Okay, contemplating having this one fall into the 31 Days of Horror that I do. This is also my first actual step into Japanese or Asian horror films. Yeah, I have seen like Ringu and all of those, but I've seen those after I saw the poor Americanized version. So Recycle. This is one of those movies where I can't give away a lot of details without really ruining this movie. And I'll be honest, this was... I mean, there are moments this movie is so absolutely visually stunning. You have a woman who's writing a book. And as she's writing this book, she's trying to get into, you know, the true depth of love and of loss and of all those sorts of things. My only gripe is this is always in subtitles. It takes a little bit longer to watch. And whenever she's typing anything, they don't always subtitle it. So you see the characters going across the screen, but me not being fluent, and I forget exactly which dialect it was. I don't know what she's typing. I don't know if they would add to the movie or not. Anyways. And as she's writing this book, she always tries to really get into the vein of the character. All of a sudden, she ends up kind of getting stuck in the realm of the abandoned. So anything you've ever essentially quit caring about, you know, whether it's relatives or ideas or toys or... So think of an area that's kind of got a lot of bizarre junk, as well as weird kind of like zombie people. And most zombie people, ironically, are just forgotten loved ones. So it's got horror movie elements. It's not a straight, you know, for the throat horror movie. But it does have scenarios where he's like, okay, this is really imaginative. So she's trying to get her way from that back to the real world. Because occasionally, there are these bizarre, like, disintegration storms. Yeah, so think about, like, a tornado on its side made of dust that eradicates everything in its path. Yeah. Yeah. Special effects-wise, this is amazing special effects for a horror movie. You know, there's a scene where she's in a forest, and most of the Forgotten are hanging from trees. So when they come down, you know, they got like super long necks. They do lots of the bizarre, you know, like ground crawling things. So it has this really nice, creepy, suspenseful feel to it. And then when she makes her way to an area where the non-zombie Forgotten, because certain people, when they're forgotten or abandoned, they kind of, they're still somewhat sentient and they don't become anywhere near as bitter, so they almost kind of like, I use the term, they kind of grow old there. And they try to help certain people get their way out. If you're not supposed to be there, you're not supposed to be there. And they try to help those people escape. They know she's not supposed to be there, so they're trying to help her out. Again, please don't post any sort of spoilers to the movie. I know I'm leaving out certain points, because by leaving those points, you can connect the dots fairly easily and kind of ruin the end of the movie. So, she ends up getting help, and as she's leaving, yeah, you know, she's walking some sort of bizarre path that looks like it's almost straight out of Lord of the Rings with weird blue fire. She stumbles, and all of a sudden she gets kind of scared. The blue fire goes down, which makes all the zombies all of a sudden run at her. She takes alternate path and is able to get her way through it to another section. Then they're in a spot where it's like... Remember that scene in 300 where they're defending the pass? Cover that pass now like in Tombstones. And have, you know, zombies sitting there. Forgotten zombies. And as she's walking, the zombies kind of begin to almost attack her. She begins to give them little, like, flowers. To show them that somebody remembers them, that somebody cares. She runs out of flowers. She then begins to get mobbed. She then throws her hell money into the air, and it's enough to disperse them. So she can get on to the next section. And then finds one of the final sections of the movie, and there are giant floating islands. Yes. If you recall, that pathetic movie Avatar where they had giant floating islands, this movie has them too. Giant floating, like, mountain formations. And then she was face to face with, like, an army of the undead that are trying to prevent her from escaping. And that's then when you find out, you know, about the actual, one of the main plot points of this movie. Certain people hate this main plot point. Because I'll be honest, when I saw it, and I was done, I kind of had that, wow, this is an amazing movie. So it has horror elements, it has fantasy elements, you know, it's got a nice overall creepy feel. Really great set design. And the twist towards the end, I do understand it could have been done slightly better, but I think if they had to put too much into making the ending a little bit more impactful, you might have caught on to it sooner. But it is done very well. This is an amazing movie. It has horror elements. I wish my wife could sit through this, because this is a beautiful movie. I know I didn't get that much in the way of plot. I can't. This is almost kind of like an Inception sort of thing, where if you give too many specific plot points, it's pretty easy to line everything up and know the ending of the movie. So, Recycle. You know, you've got action, you've got adventure, you've got fantasy. You know, it deals a little with relationships in the beginning as she's talking with different people. It's got a ton of fantasy elements, supernatural elements. But this movie essentially has almost everything. If it had like a cartoon sequence, this movie I think would probably touch every single genre imaginable. And that is Recycle.